Hey there! Thanks so much for joining me for your yoga practice today. Today's yoga class is about increasing blood flow through yoga postures, transitions, and the movement aspect of the yoga practice. So let's get started in a comfortable seated position. You can sit the way that I'm sitting with knees bent, legs in front of you. If you have any knee issues, then it might be more comfortable for you to extend your legs, straightening them, bringing them forward. Or alternatively, you could sit on a block to lift your hips higher than your knees to open up the angle at the knees. If you don't have blocks, don't worry. You can sit on a pillow or maybe a folded up blanket. Now, before we start to come into yoga postures, let's just take a moment to work with our breath. So in your comfortable seat, reach the crown of your head up towards the sky, root down in your seat, and get that axial extension, lengthening the spine. So if you notice that the shoulders are coming forward and the spine is rounding, think about positioning the shoulders above the hips and the ears above the shoulders. Now just let your arms rest. Maybe you take your palms to your thighs. Maybe you take a hand mudra. Whatever feels appropriate to you in this moment, come into that posture of an easy seat just to focus on the breath. Now bring the gaze inward. Close your eyes. Take a deep inhale all the way to the top of the breath. And when you're ready to release, exhale slowly. And again, inhale, full lung capacity breathing all the way to the top of the breath. Exhale, release slowly. Let's practice that again. This time, inhale through the nostrils. And as you exhale, open your mouth, take a sigh of relief. Continue to breathe in this way. Keep focused on your breath, all of your awareness with the way that you're breathing, taking this time to lengthen your breath, to explore your lung capacity, and to offer yourself time to calm your nervous system and down regulate. So this time is a really nice transition from what you were doing the first part of your day into your practice, this time that you've set aside for yourself. Let's take a few more rounds of breath. Inhale through the nostrils. Exhale, sigh of relief. 2 more. Hear the sound of your breath. 1 more round. Now, flutter the eyes open, coming back into the space. If your hips are elevated on a block or another prop, go ahead and come off of that prop. Bring your seat down. We're now going to change the shape of the legs by extending the legs forward. And as we do this, we're going to bring the feet together, legs together. Now, as you prepare to come into this seated forward fold, you might start by taking your right hand to your right glute, pulling the flesh back, and then trying that on the left side. Hands are going to start outside of the hips. As you inhale, sweep the arms up, fingertips towards the sky. And as you exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Now, there's no need to reach, grab, or pull. We're just getting started in our bodies. So soften the arms. Keep the calves and the hamstrings connected and just lean forward. As you lean forward, relax the head, relax the neck. Feel a nice deep stretch in the back space, in the back of the legs. And with each exhale, see if you can fold a little deeper. Now, if you're really flexible, you might take your hands to your ankles or your feet, as long as you're doing this without strain. To relax the shoulders, let go of reaching, grabbing, and pulling. And on your next exhale, see if you can fold a little deeper. Couple more rounds of breath. Gently coming into the body. Now on the next inhale, we'll reach the crown of the head up, coming back into that straight spine. And now we'll be working one side at a time. So let's open the heels out. So we'll take the right heel to the right edge of the mat and the left heel to the left edge of the mat. Now there's space between the legs. Bend the right knee. Bring the sole of the right foot to the left inner thigh. Now, as you do this, if you feel discomfort at your bent knee, then you can open the angle by taking the sole of your foot to connect to your calf muscle. This is going to open the space. Just make sure you're not pressing your foot to your knee. Now, whichever one you choose, take your hands to your ribs. Rotate your torso to your straight leg. As you inhale, reach the fingers up, and as you exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Now, as we bring the belly and the chest towards the straight leg, we feel a deeper stretch at the left hamstring. You might also feel a nice stretch in the low back and in the hip. With each exhale, allow yourself to soften into the pose. Relax the arms if you feel strain. And here, before we come out, we can take an opportunity for a little twist. So with the left leg straight, we can take the right hand to the outside of the foot. Inhale, lift the head, and then reach the left arm back. Look back to your left thumb. On your next exhale, release the arm, bring it forward, fold again. And then inhale, let the head rise up back to a straight spine. Now, extending the right leg, bend the left knee. As you set up on this side, feel into this knee. This knee on this side might feel totally different. You might need to position the foot in a different place. So give yourself a moment to feel out what this side needs. Once you have your foot positioned, take your hands to your ribs. Rotate your torso towards your straight leg. Inhale, reach the fingers up. And as you exhale, hinge the hips. Dive forward, bring your belly and your chest towards your straight leg. Relax the arms. And with each exhale, fold a little deeper. Relax the head, relax the neck. Notice where you feel sensation. The hamstring, the hip, maybe going into the low back. With each exhale, surrendering to this shape. Letting the tightness go. And before we come out from this side, we can take our optional little twist. So the left hand comes to the outside of the right foot, pinky edge. Lift the crown of the head and then reach the right arm back. Gaze back to your thumb. Exhale, bring the hand forward and fold again. Inhale, head rises up. And then from here, we're going to bend the leg that's straight, taking the foot out to the side. We're now transitioning the station of our body to kneeling. So this is one option. Your shins and the tops of your feet can be your foundation. Again, if you've got sensitivity with your knees or if you've had surgery for your knees, then the block is a really great tool to sit on to open the angle at the knees again. Now, if you don't have blocks, you can find these for a really affordable rate. I think I got these for $4.99, and these are the extra thick ones. I really like these. You can make your seat higher by stacking two. Now, check out how much that opens the angle at the knees. This is also my favorite way to sit in meditation because I feel like I can get my spine straighter. So this is a seat you might want to explore. This is coming into our modified supported hero's pose. From here, we'll just drop the hands out to the sides. As we inhale, we'll lift the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, take the shoulders back and down. Inhale, shoulders rise up. Exhale, shoulders back and down. Keep moving in this direction. Movement is following the breath. Inhale, shrug the shoulders up. Exhale, take the shoulders back and down. Bringing mobility to the shoulders, finding movement in this part of the body. And then the next time the shoulders go back and down, we'll just soften them away from the ears. Now, to transition into child's pose, we'll need to come off of the blocks. So we'll just set the blocks out to the side for now. Coming back down to the foundation of the shins on the mat. Now, for child's pose, for different variations, one, we can take the knees together, feet together. And as we fold forward, bringing the forehead down to the mat, we let the arms relax by our sides. This is going to be a great way to get flexion in the spine, getting a release at the low back. If you want a different variation, you can open the knees wide, keep the big toes together, and then extend the hands forward, reaching the fingertips to the top of the mat, taking the forehead down to the mat. Now coming into the hips. Maybe you try both of these options and see which one is feeling best in your body in this time. And once you find the variation that you like, allow yourself to sink into the pose and enjoy a few rounds of breath. Take one more round of breath here. On the next inhale, lift the head. Rotate back to a straight spine. And then from here, we'll come into our tabletop position. So as we come into tabletop, we'll take the hands forward. We want to position the wrist under the shoulders and the knees under the hips. And as you do this, create space between the fingers. So as you look down to your hands, press palms to the mat, and then look between your knees. If you can see your feet, open them out until you can't see them anymore to bring your ankles in line with your knees. Now, as you inhale, lower your belly towards the mat, getting extension in the spine. And as you exhale, lift your back for flexion. Continue to move with your breath, bringing awareness to the spine, allowing your spine to move in different directions. We'll take a couple more. Really lifting your back as if you're trying to tap the ceiling with your back. Back to a neutral tabletop position. Now looking at your hands, walk your hands one hand placement forward. This is going to give you a little more space. Now curl the toes, lift your hips, send them back, downward facing dog. As you come into your down dog, think about positioning your biceps on either side of your ears. So ears are between the biceps. Shift the weight to the legs, to the low body. Think about sending the chest towards the thighs, taking pressure out of the shoulders. So your body's in an upside down V. Now in your downward facing dog, you might explore bending one knee as the opposite leg straightens. This is a really nice way to send sensation into the hip. Loosening up the legs. Maybe you take the option of shifting forward to a plank position and then pressing back to a down dog. So decide if you want to stay with the knee bends or inhaling to plank, exhaling to down dog. Just find what you need, how you want to move in your practice today. And take 2 more rounds of breath. Exploring freedom in your movement. And then from here, we'll step the left foot outside of the left hand. So we're preparing to come into our lizard lunge. For more activation, you can keep the knee lifted on the right foot, or you can lower your right knee down, uncurling your toes. Now your arms can stay straight, or you might come on to your forearms, positioning your elbows in line with the arch of your left foot. You might splay that left knee out, external rotation for the hip, or you might hug the knee in towards the shoulder. Just find what you need. You might even rock the hips from side to side, giving our hips some love, creating time and space for a deeper opening. And if you're on your forearms, go ahead and press palms to the mat. Straighten the arms again. Now from here, you've got two options. For a more gentle approach, you can take your left knee back and then bring your right foot forward. Or you can step your right foot outside of your right hand and then take your left toes back, coming into the other side. So remember, you can keep the knee lifted or you can lower the knee down, uncurling the toes. Now from here, hands are in line with the front foot. Option to lower onto the forearms. Option to splay the knee out. Option to hug it in. You'll notice if one side is tighter than the other. You might rock the hips slightly from side to side, little micro movement here. Just feeling into this side now. If you're on your forearms, press palms to the mat. So again, if you want to come out by taking your right knee back in line with the left, you can. Or you can curl your left toes, step your left foot outside of your left hand. Now, wherever you are, bring your feet to the top of the mat. We're going to come into a forward fold. So you'll notice that your feet are wide at first. We're going to heel toe them to hip distance. Standing forward fold. When you look down at your feet, there should be enough space for another foot of yours to fit there. Then make sure that you're relaxing your head and your neck. Avoid the urge to hold it up. You might even take your hands to opposite elbows, framing your head with your arms. Nice deep stretch for the back of the body. Here you might come back to bending one knee at a time. You might keep the legs straight. If the hamstrings are tight, I recommend bending the knees. Let's enjoy another full round of breath here. Releasing your hands if they're on the elbows. Bend the knees. Now slowly take your time to roll up to standing. Slow, slow, slow. There's no rush here. Let's let the head come up last to prevent us from getting dizzy. And as we roll up, we're coming into Tadasana, mountain pose. And as we come into our mountain pose, we'll bring our hands by our sides. Palms are facing forward. Feet stay at hip distance. And with our palms facing forward, we're going to come into a stretch for the side body. But first, make sure the shoulders are relaxed. So inhale the shoulders up again, and then exhale, take the shoulders back and down. Good. Really setting the shoulders away from the ears. Now, in our mountain pose, transitioning now to side stretching, inhale, reach the fingers up towards the sky. Let the palms meet. Heel toe the feet together so that the big toes meet, little space at the ankles. Here you can interlace the fingers if you'd like. Next, inhale, reach the arms up again. Ears are between the biceps. And then exhale, fold over to the right. So both arms are to the right, hips move to the left. Feel into the side body. Feel the balance from your standing foundation. Preparing to switch it up to the other side. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, take the arms opposite direction. Now, as you take the arms over, send the hips to the other side. Feel into the side body, the part of the human body that we stretch the least, creating space between the ribs. Feels so good. Inhale, rise up. Let's do that one more time on each side. Now, this second time, you might notice that you can go a little deeper. You might take the option of dropping the bottom arm. Reach, reach, reach. Inhale, rise up. Take it to the other side. Maybe dropping the bottom arm. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release the arms down. Open the feet back to hip distance. So feet are at the top of the mat. From here, we're going to transition to a standing posture of Warrior Two. So in Warrior Two, we can take our hands to our hips as we set up. We're going to step that right foot back and take the right foot to 45 degrees. So we're pressing the sole of the foot to the mat. And then when we look forward, we've got to bend at the left knee. Knee is tracking above the ankle. From here, we're going to rotate to gaze forward, and we'll inhale, let the arms rise up. Now press to the pinky edge of the back foot so much that it feels like the arch is coming up off the mat. Keep a bend at the left knee. And then on your next exhale, we're going to take that back foot to 90 and open the arms for Warrior Two. Now, as you do this, fingers are reaching in opposite directions. Gaze is to the front middle finger. Look down to check your alignment. Make sure that the left knee is open out to the left enough for you to see your big toe and your second toe. Warrior Two, strong foundation. Now that we're in our standing Warrior Two, we can get a little more movement, honoring that increase of blood flow. So from here, what we can do is inhale, arms rise up, legs straightens. Exhale, take it back to Warrior Two. Inhale, exhale, and again. Good. Now, the next time that you come into your Warrior Two, you can lower your back arm, reach your fingers up. Maybe you reach overhead. Continue to move. Take the arms back to Warrior Two. Bend the front elbow. Reach your arm overhead. Extended side angle. Inhale, come back. Straighten the front leg. Reach the fingers forward. Rotate to triangle. Reach the top fingers up. Keep the legs as they are. Rotate the arms to Warrior Two and then reverse your triangle. Good. And then we'll take it back to Warrior Two. Now, from here, we're going to bring the hands down to the hips, and we're going to do that on the other side. So you can either step your back foot forward, or depending on how you're facing the video, you might just rotate your legs coming into the opposite side. So remember, we're starting with Warrior One. This means that now the right knee is going to be bent. The back foot is going to start at 45 degrees. Look back, make sure you've got that positioned. Keep a bend in the right knee. Press to the pinky edge of the foot. Rotate your torso, now gazing in this direction. Reach the arms up, gaze forward. Feel the activation. Press to the pinky side of the foot. Feel the strength in your legs. Know that from here, we're going to transition to Warrior Two. So we're going to open the arms and we're going to rotate that back foot to 90 degrees. Now, in our Warrior Two, let's look down to the right knee. Make sure it's open to the right enough to see the big toe and the second toe. Gaze is coming back to the middle finger. Strong standing posture, Warrior Two. Virabhadrasana 2. Now, incorporating movement, coming back into that blood flow. Inhale, arms rise up, straighten the leg. Exhale, it's Warrior Two. And again, inhale, arms rise up. Exhale, it's Warrior Two. Last round, movement follows the breath. Awesome. Now from here, drop the back arm, reach the fingers up, overhead. Nice stretch back in the side body. Take the arms back to warrior two. Bend the elbow, lower the forearm to the thigh, reach the arm overhead. It's extended side angle. Continuing to move, float the arms back to warrior two. Now, press into the foot, straighten the leg. Reach the fingers forward, rotate the arms. It's our triangle. Reach the fingers up. On your next inhale, keep the legs as they are. Just move the arms. Reverse your triangle. Reach the fingers up. Reach, reach, reach. And then it's back to warrior two. Great. Now we're going to rotate the toes, same direction. All 10 toes, same direction. Let the arms come down. Take a round of breath here. Exhale, let go. Heel toe the feet towards each other. Back to hip distance. Now, as we come back to hip distance with our feet, we're going to come into another forward fold. This time we're going to give ourselves an opportunity to take some variations. So with feet hip distance, arms by your sides, on your next inhale, sweep the arms up, fingertips towards the sky. And as you exhale, go ahead and hinge at the hips. Now coming back into our forward fold. Remember, if your hamstrings are tight, bend your knees. That's going to be more comfortable. If the hamstrings are more open, straighten the legs. If your hands or your fingertips don't reach the mat, don't worry. You can take blocks under your hands and stay with a half lift as you work with opening the back of the legs. So just find what you need. Now this time for our variations, once we look at the feet, we're going to bring the big toes together. Take the hands in front of the feet. Maybe you're still working with the block. And then we're going to take a really deep bend in the right knee. Left leg is going to stay straight. Walk the hands to the pinky side of the right foot. So we're twisting the upper body, keeping a deep bend in the right knee. And as we keep the left leg straight, we can feel a sensation going up the leg into the hip. Relax the head if you're holding it up. Take the hands back in front of the feet. Now bend the left knee. Both knees are bent. Straighten the right leg. Keeping the left knee bent, walk the hands or the fingertips to the pinky side of the left foot. Feel the sensation going up the right leg into the right hip. Prepare to transition by bending the right knee. Both knees are bent. Take the hands in front of the feet. Lift the hips. See if you can fold a little deeper. Feel into the hamstrings. From here, bend your knees. Slowly start to rise up. Coming back into our mountain pose. Now we're in our mountain pose. Our feet are together. On our next inhale, we're going to come into chair pose. And then as we exhale, we're going to come into our forward fold. Inhale back to chair. Exhale to Tadasana. Let's try that again. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair. Exhale, Tadasana. Now we are going to do that one more time, but I want to show you how you can do this with the block for more activation for the inner thighs. So you'll simply place the block between your inner thighs. Now this is going to open the feet a little bit away from each other. That's okay. We'll try it now, maintaining the block between the thighs by squeezing the thighs together. So inhale, sit back, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, it's chair. And then exhale, Tadasana. So you can take a couple more rounds with the block there if you really liked that variation, or you can stick with doing it without the block if you don't have a block. Either way, try both, see which one is feeling really good in your body. And just know the movement is chair, fold, chair, Tadasana. Inhaling chair, exhaling fold, inhale chair, exhale Tadasana. Now from here, we're gonna come back into our fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Let the hands connect to the mat. So you might need to bend the knees to make this happen. And then we're gonna step the right foot back to plank position and then the left foot back. Now you might take the option of taking a few rounds of breath here in your plank position, pulling the belly button up towards the spine. Eventually, we're making our way to downward facing dog. So if you're ready to come into down dog, you can go ahead and do that. Setting yourself up, maybe rocking the hips from side to side. And then from here, bring the hips to center. Bend the knees and gently lower the knees to the mat. So we're coming back into our tabletop position, uncurling the toes. This time in our tabletop, we can draw circles with our hips, feeling ourselves coming out of standing, coming back down towards grounding, circle around opposite direction. Find your way to center. Now from here, we're gonna come into some spinal twisting with shoulder sensation. So we'll start one side at a time. As you inhale, twist to the right, reach the right fingers up, gaze up. Exhale, weave the right arm behind the left, bend the left elbow, come onto the right side of the head. Maybe your left hand stays down. Send weight into the right shoulder. Feel the twist in your back. Maybe you reach the left fingers up, or maybe you take your left hand to your sacrum, opening up the shoulder if you're in either one of these options. If the hand is lifted, bring it back down to the mat. Use your energy to push the mat away. Inhale, twist again. Exhale, take the hand down to the mat. Pause for a full round of breath here. Inhale through the nostrils. Exhale, open the mouth, release. Inhale, now twisting to the left, reach the fingers up. Exhale, weave the arm behind the right. Bend the right elbow coming onto the left side of the head. Option to keep the right hand grounded, or you might reach the fingers straight up, or you might take your hand to your sacrum. Just decide where you want to be, leaning over to the left if you need more sensation. And if your right hand is lifted, go ahead and bring it down to the mat. Press the mat away. Inhale, lift the left fingers up, twisting again. Exhale, take the hand down. Pause for a full round of breath. Inhale through the nostrils. Exhale, open the mouth, release. Now, changing the station of our body again, we're going to come onto our bellies in a prone position. Come onto your forearms and then slide the legs back. Give yourself a moment to get grounded here. Feel the belly on the mat. You can start off by positioning the elbows underneath. And then on your next exhale, let your chest lower down towards the mat. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Inhale, lift your chest, gaze forward. Exhale, lower forehead to the mat. Slide the hands back more towards the ribs. And then as you inhale, lift the head, gaze forward, press the tops of the feet to the mat. See if you can gently lift your palms off the mat. And then exhale, lower down, forehead meets the mat. Bring your arms out to the sides. Inhale, lift the head, lift the chest, lift the arms, lift the legs. Take a full round of breath here. Exhale, release. Now, because we took a few options in back bending, extension of the spine, we're going to take a counter stretch coming into flexion. So bringing the hands under the shoulders. Use your energy to push the mat away. At the same time, lift your hips. Shift the hips back. Bring the big toes together. Come into child's pose. Enjoy a few rounds of breath here. Really letting your body sink down. Taking a reflective pause, feeling into the hips, back, shoulders. Maybe you take your arms out to the sides, relaxing the shoulders. Maybe you close your eyes and bring all of your awareness to where you're feeling the most sensation in your body. Really grounding down now. Child's pose is an awesome posture to help reduce anxiety, calm the nervous system. It's a posture that's really helpful if you're having trouble sleeping at nighttime. If that's the case for you, then I recommend doing this one for 3 to 5 minutes before bedtime. Just allowing your system to calm. On the next inhale, let the head rise up. So we're coming back to this straight spine, reaching the crown of the head up, transitioning our body again, now coming into some reclined positions. We're going to bring the legs forward. So take the feet out to one side and then extend the legs forward. Bend the knees. Bring your glutes midway onto the mat because eventually you're going to lay back and you're going to want to have space for your head to lay back. Now, as we move back, you're going to want the prop of a block. So bring that somewhere close by where you can grab onto it. If you think you're going to need 2 blocks, then you can bring the second one close to you. So I'm going to recommend bringing that just outside of the hip. The knees are going to stay bent. Before you come back, look at your feet. Make sure that your heels are in line with your glutes. And then from here, we're going to roll back. So we want to connect our entire back, our shoulders, and our head to the mat. And as we feel the back of the body connecting down, just let yourself relax. Take a few rounds of breath. Neutral spine. And from here, we'll come into a supported bridge. Pressing the feet to the mat, lift the hips. This is where we're going to slide our block underneath the sacrum. So make sure the block isn't on your low back. You want to take it more towards the glutes. And again, if you don't have a block, don't worry. You can put a pillow or a blanket underneath. Now, as you set it up, make sure that you don't feel pain like pinching, tingling, numbness in the low back. If so, that's an indication to move the prop around until you don't feel that. Now, in our supported bridge, we can keep the block at the lowest height, or we can rotate the block to the mid height to lift the hips higher up. You decide what feels best for you. If you really want to open up the front of the hips, stretching out the psoas muscle, then you can bring your heels down to the mat, extending your legs, relaxing the arms down. This is a great counter stretch if you spend a lot of time sitting in a chair. Let the block support you and hold you up, and just try to let go. Let your body be heavy. If your legs are straight and you feel pinching, then maybe you come back to bending your knees. Give yourself an opportunity to try different options and see which one your body is really feeling today. Now we're going to start to come out. So you're going to press your feet to the mat, lift your hips, take the block, move it out, slowly roll down from the top of the back, bone by bone, all the way down to your tailbone. Now, give yourself a moment to come back to your breath, check your positioning, make sure that your heels and your ankles are still in line with your glutes. And we're gonna take a moving bridge. So arms are gonna be by the sides, grounding down. These are gonna be our anchors. Palms are pressing to the mat. As you inhale, lift your hips, press them up. And as you exhale, lower from the top of the spine, slowly down, bone by bone. And we'll do that a couple more times. Inhale, lift the hips, press them up to the sky. Exhale, lower down, bone by bone. And then one more. Inhale, lift the hips, press them up. Exhale, lower down. Next time the tailbone meets the mat, take a full round of breath. Inhale through the nostrils. Exhale, open the mouth, let it go. Now open the arms out to the sides. From here, lift your feet. Position your ankles in line with your knees. Taking a moving spinal twist, moving any props that might be in your way. Inhale with your knees to center. And as you exhale, take both knees over to the left. Practice keeping the right shoulder down. Inhale, take the knees back up to center. Exhale, now take both knees over to the left. Practice keeping the left shoulder down. Each time you inhale, the knees will find center. And each time you exhale, twist to the opposite direction. Movement is following the breath. Let's take one more on each side. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower the feet to the mat. From here, maybe you take your palms to your belly. With the palms resting at your belly, inhale, feel the belly pressing to the palms. Exhale, feel the belly soften. Maybe you stay here with your hands connected to your belly, focusing on your breath. Maybe you lengthen the legs and start to come into your posture of relaxation, Shavasana. And this is up to you. I recommend taking 5 to 7 minutes following this practice in your comfortable posture of relaxation. Offering yourself an opportunity to be present. And just let yourself rest in stillness. Offering yourself this time of just being without doing. If you feel that you need relaxation for a longer amount of time, please feel free to do that. If meditation is part of your practice, now is a great time to come into meditation following the completion of your movement, getting the wiggles out of your body. So whether you decide to come into Shavasana for a certain amount of time or come into your time of meditation, at this time we'll close our practice together today. Thank you so much for joining me, for showing up for yourself, for taking this time of self-care. It is my deepest honor to serve you with this practice. Namaste.